Guys, everyone in our team has done at least a couple of these mistakes. So if you want to avoid them, stay until the very end.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 mistakes wholesalers make. Now, this is something we see a lot of because we've got a decent sized wholesale team here in Canada. And today, Diego's really going to break down for you guys some of the struggles that most of our wholesale team goes through while they're becoming wholesalers, because it's not necessarily an easy path. In fact, a lot of people drop off before ever getting their first successful deal, but hopefully you can avoid these big 5 mistakes, which will allow you to get to the other side of that first deal. Let's jump into it.
What is up, everybody? My name is Diego Terraza, and on this last video of the 3 series part, we're going to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes new wholesalers make and how to avoid them. Wholesaling can be either a great side hustle if you can manage your time properly, or a full-time career. So let's talk about the most important things you need to know so you can avoid all the mistakes the team and I have already made and mistakes that we see a lot of new people making. Mistake number 1, not budgeting correctly. Hands down, we're gonna start with this one because I think it's the most common one and the reason people say wholesaling doesn't work for them. Not budgeting correctly for your living expenses and your marketing will leave you dry and defeated in a very, very short time, guys. If you plan on doing wholesaling full time, you should at least have 4 to 6 months of living expenses saved. Why, you may ask? Simple. Let's say you managed to close a deal on your very first month of wholesaling and that you did a $15,000 assignment fee. First of all, congratulations. Not a lot of people without great mentorship can actually do that. But now let's say it's mid-January and you have agreed to a closing of 60 days, which is the normal. So this means that until April, you will not see a penny of that deal. And this is because lawyers usually take on average around 15 days to actually pay you your wholesale fee. So even though you have done your deal, you will still need to cover your expenses for those couple of months. Plus, when the time comes and you do get paid, remember that if you want to continue with your wholesaling career, you should replenish your reserves to keep covering all your expenses and your marketing. So $15,000 could be blown away really easy and fast. Mistake number 2, romanticizing every lead you get. This is something every new wholesaler is guilty of. They send a couple of thousand flyers and they maybe get 2 or 3 calls and the greed takes over you. You want to make those 2 or 3 calls a deal, or that lead that you found on Kijiji, you desperately trying to make it work. And it's not like that. You actually have to go through a lot of properties, conversations, and hours of analyzing properties to actually find a good deal. You must learn that from the beginning, that not every call or lead you get will be a deal. The sooner you accept that, the easier it will be mentally on you also. The problem when you romanticize every lead you get is that you soon become frustrated and your limiting beliefs and mental blocks kick in, and it's super hard from there, which most of the times lead to quitting before you actually make your first deal. Learn how to analyze properties correctly. If you follow all the steps I laid out on the last video where I teach reverse wholesaling, you should know what a good deal looks like. Learn how to analyze properties correctly. If you follow all the steps I laid out on the last video where I teach reverse wholesaling, you should know what a good deal looks like to your investor buyers. So it's easier not to fall for this mistake. Mistake number 3, not being consistent. Being a successful wholesaler is a double-edged sword, guys. It can make you a great real estate investor, and at the same time, it can make you very comfortable. One of the biggest mistakes new wholesalers make after having a great month is to get this dangerous sense of achievement, which makes you lay back and say, I did pretty well this month, I can afford not to work today. Suddenly, this day becomes a week, this week becomes a month, and then you realize that you have nothing else in your pipeline, and because of that, you spend your next 2 months with big fat zeros. So now suddenly a great month of $40,000 gets diluted to just $10,000 a month because, as we mentioned before, you have to cover your expenses for those 2 or 3 months you don't generate more deals. But then you work your butt off and you close another deal. You're back on that high thinking how life is awesome and you're kicking butt, And again, you don't take action to get the next deal until this one closes. So you end up spending all your energy getting that one single deal to close instead of maintaining a healthy pipeline. So you end up living on this perpetual roller coaster of ups and downs and have no consistency. The easiest way to avoid this mistake is by avoiding the shining object syndrome. When you lock up your first deal, just think as you didn't have it and keep working to negotiate and assign the next 3 deals. Mistake number 4, not investing enough in marketing. This is one of the biggest mistakes I made when I started. I was just not sending enough marketing, guys, and I was not generating leads. A lot of people dream of making 20, 30, 50,000 wholesale fees because they see other people doing it. But as soon as they see that they need to spend $5,000 in marketing, they fly away from the idea. You have to understand that if you want to be a real estate investor, you will need money to generate money. Whether you're flipping, buying and holding, doing wholesales or wholesaling, you will need to invest money to get more money back. Fortunately, wholesaling is the one that requires the least amount of money. For example, my first 3 flyer campaigns, I spent around $3,000 because I did small batches, which is also a big mistake. After that, I did a whole city and spent around $3,800 more and sent out 10,000 flyers. And that campaign resulted in 2 deals closed and $65,000 in fee. A great ROI if you ask me. You need to break into the market that you choose, and for that you need to constantly send marketing. I'm very sorry to tell you guys that your free We Buy Houses for Cash ad in Kijiji and Facebook will probably never ever yield any result. People that are thinking about selling or are in some sort of financial or life trouble are not going to Kijiji to find their solution. This is why here in Canada you need to constantly send marketing to entire cities. This is the only way of breaking into a market. People will always think your flyers are a scam. The only way to change this is to constantly send flyers and meet up with sellers. They will eventually change their mind when they have received 6 or 7 flyers. I've had sellers that call me and say, hey, this is the 8th time I've gotten your flyer. I'm interested in selling my house. Come check it out. Look, to be honest, wholesaling is a numbers game. Simple law of averages. The more you do, the more chances you get to close a deal. So if you're just thinking about doing a flyer campaign of 10,000 flyers once, let me save you the money and just don't do it. Mistake number 5, making wholesaling about you. This is a huge mistake new wholesalers make. They have a mentality of me. They want to see a deal happen so bad and get that wholesale fee. They don't care what the seller is looking for, and because of this, they end up not getting deals or having a really shitty deal. You see, wholesaling is not only a real estate investing strategy, but you're also a problem solver. And this should be your mentality from the beginning. How can I help the person looking to sell, and how can I get the best deal possible for my investor? At the beginning, I was just like this. I was just thinking about my wholesale fee and how much I could make. This makes you greedy, and greed blinds you from seeing the real problem the seller has. So once you change that mentality, everything changes. When you go to a seller's house and just talk with them, get to know them, build a relationship, find out what the real problem is, everything is so much easier, really. When you have a solid relationship with a seller, then you can find out really what their selling price is. They might tell you X amount the first time you speak with them over the phone, but after building a relationship, you might find out later that they would walk away fine with less than that. You have to have in mind that people do business with people they like. Every seller you meet is a great opportunity to build a relationship. You might not end up doing business together, but guess what? Now they get to know you. Now they know you're not a scammer sending flyers. Now they like you and they will talk good about you with their friends and family. I had a seller once call me mad, saying that he wanted $1 million for his house, just to mess me up, right? After 5 minutes on the phone, he mentioned something about cryptocurrencies, and I happened to invest in cryptos. So we ended up having a 35-minute call, not even about his property. He tagged me for that good conversation, And 3 days later, one of his neighbors called me, said he had spoke with that seller and that he had recommended me to purchase properties. So that's the secret sauce to wholesaling, guys. Building relationships. Just like in any other business or anything in life, if you really are consistent, you handle your finances well, you build relationships, and you're able to solve other people's problems, money will eventually come to you pouring. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching this series. If you haven't, please subscribe to this channel. Matt is always posting new amazing content. And if you want to connect with me, you can follow me on Instagram. My user is Diego Deals. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks again to Diego for taking the time to shoot today's video. If you guys got value from it, smash the like button, hit subscribe. And if you guys want to see some of our private deals, some of our wholesale deals, we'll throw a link in the video description down below. Jump over, sign up for free, and you'll be able to see what deals we get on a weekly basis.